everybody. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to anybody new coming across this channel. Comments and feedback are always welcome. And if you like what you hear, feel free to subscribe. I am trying to grow the channel, so any subscriptions are much appreciated, and I thank you in advance. So I've recently been thinking about and both reading, came up in a couple of different conversations that I've listened to also, where embracing the dark side of yourself, the negative, the bad, the ugly, the parts you tend to repress and put off into a corner, only show when you are by yourself, if anything, and sometimes not even then. Learning, listening to the things I talked about, sitting with that and embracing that, or not pushing that away because of the fact that it's necessary for you to be you. We aren't all perfect. We are not positive all the time. You can't use fake positivity or positive thoughts to get rid of the fact that you still get annoyed all the time when you're asked what you consider to be a stupid question. You can't hide from the fact that you get irritated or that you do get annoyed in general. You can't hide from the fact that you do feel jealous. If you do hide from these things, they tend to find a way to show themselves in your own life or to come out in your actions without you necessarily being aware of them until after the fact. So a way to try and be aware and to control the expression of these things is to sit with yourself when these feelings or emotions arise. I get agitated and irritated a lot and tend to get irritated very easily or annoyed very easily. And it's taken a lot of work and a lot of practice, which I'm still doing, and it still happens now, to accept the fact that I do this, accept the fact that this is part of what comes with me. The end of this Medium article that I read has a great quote that says, "It is an easy thing to say, be yourself, but quite another thing to know who you truly are. How can you be yourself if you do not know that self? Therefore, the process of individuation becomes the seeking after self-knowledge. Getting to know you is the only way for you to actually be yourself. If you're running around hiding from the fact that you get angry and hiding from your irrational moments or hiding yourself from the moments when you are irritated and annoyed. And what I mean by hiding is by explaining them away. If somebody calls you out on it, you immediately jump to your own defense. It's like, oh, well, I was acting that way because of this. Oh, I was annoyed because you told me, you said something to me that like I already knew. I didn't need you to tell me to do this. You asked me to take out the garbage when I know I'm going to take out the garbage. I'm doing it in my own time. Explaining it away and not sitting back and saying like, yes, all right, I was irrational at this point. Yes, I was annoyed at this point in time. Yes, this thing did make me angry. These are things that do sometimes require you to meditate on or to sit down and get quiet with yourself. Sit down and get quiet with yourself and think about and acknowledge and recognize like what you felt in that moment in time. You might have to go back and put yourself into that space and feel what you felt during that moment and sit with that feeling. Or you might need to, when you're called out on something, instead of automatically jumping to your defense, sit with what's being said. If it's causing any type of feeling within you, then you sit with that feeling and try and understand why you were feeling that feeling. This isn't something that if you do, all of a sudden now you're not going to feel anything anymore, or you're going to feel it and never be overtaken by it, or you're never going to act out on it. You probably will. A lot. But the one thing that I do think is that if you learn to sit with these things and learn to acknowledge these things, it gets easier to address going forward. It's easier to catch yourself when the feelings arise. It's easier to learn to sit with the feelings when they arise and act more accordingly, or more appropriately, I should say, when those feelings do arise. rather than snap reactions that happen from unacknowledged things. If you have control issues, if you have a fear of something happening, you may spin things in a way that they aren't, that reality isn't actually producing. But out of fear, you'll react a certain way or spin things a certain way because it's feeding that fear that you're not acknowledging. So your mind will find a way to feed that fear because that fear is begging for your attention. And if it's not going to get it directly from you, then it's going to find a way to make you pay attention to it. And then it's on you from there to pay attention or to turn and run. Sometimes you will be confronted with things over and over. I think that you do get confronted with something until you learn it. And then even once you learned it, then it's cool. We're just going to keep confronting you with it because you haven't really gotten it yet. You kind of got it. You got it to an extent. Cool, you can work on it now. Oh, you can acknowledge it now. We'll really test you out. Life doesn't seem to give breaks. Just because you figure something out doesn't mean, nope, here we go, we're done. Got this lesson, we're never going to have to learn it again. Like, okay, cool, you acknowledged it here. You learned your lesson. And here it is again, right away. We're going to wait 3 years. Here it is again. We're going to wait 2 months. We're going to wait a week. Maybe we're going to wait 2 minutes. But you learn to not turn and run from these things. You deal with them, you accept them for what they are, use it to your benefit. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.